Sheila, my wife's name. Yes, my wife's name. Anybody else? H-E-E-L-A Thomas. Or just hit Baidu's thing and you'll see me over there on Facebook. So if you guys need it, I don't carry business cards. He brought a stash of them too. So if you need a business card from him, get it from him, all that kind of stuff. All right. Real quick, we're going to talk about time and resource management. And this is going to be a very, very short thing that I'm going to talk to you about. Question for you. How do you guys manage time? Okay, well, what is the concept of time that we're talking about today is not the extended time, the time on this earth kind of deal. That's not what we're talking about. The concept of time that we're talking about is every hour, every minute of your life, that kind of thing. Out of curiosity, can someone share with me how you manage your time, or how do you take care of your time?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You want me to take my day, or like?
How do you handle it?
Okay. Every morning I wake up at 6 o'clock. I leave the house by 6:30. Get to work 7:45. I'm there for 8 hours. Leave by 4:30. I come home, and on the way home, I pick up stuff just in case. I don't want to go back home and then go back to the store. So by the time I get home, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. After that, take a hour nap. Go to the gym for 2 hours. After that, come home. That's my day.
You see that he doesn't read the Bible?
I mean, to be more specific,
He doesn't
when I
pray,
get to work,
say, he doesn't do any of that stuff.
I pray that I go to sleep.
None of that.
And family prayer. Family prayer.
Anybody else? How many of you believe that God is really interested in what happens every minute of your life?
Amen.
I'm not saying that as an overall scope, every minute of your daily life. It is 1:40 p.m. and the 32nd second it really matters. How many of you believe that? Now, I'm not here to brag or boast. I should be the last person to be talking to you about time management. I try to move this topic around the theme, but it seems like it came like a boomerang and came back to hit me. I have my hands are full constantly. All right, on any given day, I am out of the house by 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't get home till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and still find time for my job. But I call him, he doesn't call me. It's a one-way relationship. So anyway,
Hello.
So 10:30, 11 o'clock is when I usually come home, and in the middle of all this, I got to figure out that I have a full-time job. I'm pursuing a master's in divinity. I have 2 children, a wife, a mother, secretary of the church, other ministries, missions that I'm involved in, the camp, refugee camp. All these things have to happen in between all of this. So when I told my wife the other day, my topic is time management, she just busted out laughing. You're like the wrong person to talk about this. But when I did a little bit of research about that and just studying about that a little bit more, and that I have a business degree, and when I had a business degree, I was kind of going to talk about time management from a business perspective or a corporate perspective. Never thought there was a scriptural perspective to time management. So it's blessing me. I did this for like a week, and this is working me out. One of the things that you got to say is, and this is where I have a problem with it, and this is a personal weakness of mine or a personal flaw of mine. How many of you guys can actually say no to something? You already have a schedule that you've got school, whatever you guys do, and someone needs to ask for a favor. How many of you can say no? I'm not talking about your parents or anybody else, or I'm talking about friends, anybody along those lines. The problem that I had and I still have is the fact that I can't say no. If somebody is in distress, I gotta drop everything and go help them out. My wife's always on my case saying that you need to stop that, you need to find somebody else. You need to find somebody else to do this, because the more they call you and the more you answer their call, guess what? The more they're going to call you again. Okay? one of the things that we need to do is we got to understand that God, if you come with me to the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 10. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which what? God prepared in advance for us to do." Question for you. Is that talking about ministry? Is that talking about just spiritual things, the season of repenting, baptized, getting baptized, getting filled with the Holy Spirit and all that? Is that what it's talking about? You've got to understand one thing. Before you're born in this world, God has already laid out the tracks of your life, the path of your life already. So every second of your life, every moment of your life is already being discussed, is being addressed by God. So if anything that He gives in your hand, or it comes in your life, you've got to understand one thing. He has already prepared a way for you to handle the situation that you're going to face. Alright? I'm a person that wishes that we had more than 24 hours a day. This past Friday, or day before yesterday, I had given my clothes to dry cleaning. I am so busy at this point in my life. 24 hours a day is not good enough for me. I've given my clothes for dry cleaning. I told my wife I'm going to pick the dry cleaning on the way to the airport. Forgot to pick up my dry cleaning. And I came here and I didn't have insurance. I just bought the other day. The tag is still on here because I couldn't take that off this one. I can't cut it. I didn't have a scissors to cut it off. Alright? So, sometimes we get so busy in our lives that we forget minute details. But God is saying that you need to be interested in the minute details because that's the areas where you're going to see my provision, my supply, and my care. Alright? So, as we go along with this thing, then I'm going to go down the notes real quick, okay? There is nothing in this world that God gives in our lives that puts us through, as a child of God, that you go through that you cannot handle. But I want to talk a few concepts about time real quick, and I'm actually on my 4th page here already. Go to the second part of the thing. How many of you are good at time management? Define management. Excuse my handwriting. Define management.
Organize.
What does a business manager do?
Organize. He controls things around him.
Does a business manager actually control things around him?
No. He's scheduled.
Communicating people.
Make sure that things work in order.
Huh? Yes. Anything is a good word for it.
I think you prioritize.
A business manager and a CFO, or a controller of a company, and I'm assuming that you're not all in business world, but a controller of a company and a business manager, or a general manager. What's the difference, do you think? We're going to have some corporate talk. What's the difference?
Between what?
A general manager and a controller.
The manager directly controls the employees, whereas the CEO is head high.
No,
CEO is not the controller.
controller is somebody who manages the financial aspects of it, and the general manager is the people manager.
I'll put this very simple. Very simple. This is a company, right? This is the GM. This is the controller.
Or the CFO.
For a company to survive, or a corporation to survive, one of the things you got to understand and realize is you're supposed to handle every hit that comes against you. It might be an employee quitting. It might be competition down the street. It might be, CEO all of a sudden dies. Whatever it might be, a corporation should be in a place where it can actually take the hits. Okay? A general manager is always the one that makes sure that he can actually control all the hits from without. Now, does that mean that he cannot control everything inside? No. But his eyes are always outside the company saying, what's around me? If I'm a Home Depot general manager, what's Lowe's doing on the street? If I'm a Kroger store manager, what is Publix doing down the street? What kind of, I'm assuming you guys got a Kroger Publix around here. Or Big Burger King got, all right? And what's McDonald's, what kind of specials is McDonald's running? But he's controlling from within. Okay? And based on the things that are coming from the outside, he controls and he changes things on the inside. Okay? Does that make sense? He can steer his company in the direction it wants to go because based on what is happening in the industry, based on what's happening in the forecasting that's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. I know, I'm a general manager. But a controller is not bothered by all the things that are coming on the outside. A controller is bothered by all the things that are happening on the inside. Not just financially, but other aspects of it. Okay? Budgets, forecasting, human resources, control of all the things that are happening on the inside. Once all these issues are coming inside the house, he's the one who controls everything. Now, the controller, that is the terminology for a controller. Traditional controller is more involved in the financial aspects of things. But that is what the whole concept of a controller position is. Today, what we have become is we become time managers. But God is expecting us to be time controllers. Okay? How do we become a time manager and how do we become a time controller? Does anybody juggle in this house? Does anybody know how to juggle? I'll make this very simple. Does anybody know how to juggle? Let's just say that someone's juggling like 4 balls. His family, his church, his job, his children. And you're juggling. You throw a 5th ball in. Ministry. Starts juggling. A 6th ball. He starts juggling. And a different ball with different aspects of his life, and he's just sitting there juggling. How long do you think he's going to control? He's going to be in a position to control all these things. All these balls are thrown in. Some people are capable of handling up to 15, 20, whatever it might ball, or some people are only capable of handling what? 2, 3 or 4. Some can only handle 2. But that's, it depends on the individual, it depends on the personality or the character that's right there. Okay? But the thing that we've got to understand one thing is, God is not expecting us to just stand there and take on every single thing that comes your way. But rather, you are in control of the time that you are in this world. In this every hour, every moment, everything. You know what? School is a priority to me, whether you like it or not, school is a priority. So you know what? That is going to be there. I got to take that. Okay? Your spiritual life, your prayer life, your church life, thou shalt not forsake gathering of saints, all that kind of stuff, that is another priority. Where do you place that? Or are you juggling with your time the whole time? I'm a time juggler. I really am. I move homework for cottage meetings. Move cottage meetings for homework. Whole night here. I do that. But how many of you guys can actually come to a place that, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I'm accountable for every time, every moment that God has given me, and I'm going to have it all drawn out, and that's all that I'm going to come, and I'm actually going to have some time for emergencies. Not other people's issues, for emergencies. We define emergency in the video, but what is an emergency? Okay? God is expecting us that, you know what, the time that I've given you, that you need to be in control of that. Give you a concept, another concept. God has given Josh a talent to play the guitar. Okay? If he's not fostering that thing, that talent to play the guitar, does he lose it? He might not technically all out lose it, but he's not getting better at what he does. Okay? Does that make sense? On the flip side of the coin, he said, you know what? Look at that dude. That dude plays drums so awesome. I want to be like him. And I'm going to make time to go play drums. But God has not called me to do that, and I'm going and doing that stuff. What are the chances that you're going to get your return on investment? The time that you invested. Okay? I went to study the keyboard. My dad wanted me to study keyboard so bad. And I couldn't stand musical instruments. I can't stand them. I love listening to them, but I can't play them. I don't think I have a skill for it. All the money that he gave, with that money, thinking that I was going to keyboard, I went to watch movies and had a good lunch and all that good meal. But did he get a return on investment? One day he's like, all right, so when are you going to do this in church? I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. The only thing that I knew how to play was This Is the Day. And I still don't play that game. God is going to say, I gave you time. And I'm not talking about the lifetime. Every minute, every second, every hour. What did you do with it? How did you, am I going to get a return on the investment that I've given you? Every second belongs to God. Every breath belongs to God. What have you done with that every breath? We have to come to a place where we control our time more than managing our time. Okay? If you're the guy, the more you're managing the time, you come to a place where other things come and squeeze you. And when it's being squeezed, you still the interval of time is only 24 hours a day. So other things are squeezing you, and you're losing out on the other things. Like for example, if another issue comes in your life, you will lose some sleep. Instead of sleeping 8 hours, you're probably sleeping 4.5. Does that make sense? So something else is being compromised, and something else is being hurt by you squeezing in more time, more things. But what you need to come to do is, you need to come and prioritize your life. And prioritize what's important for you. How many of you times do people spend, outside of family prayer, spend time with your family, with your parents? Just to say, hey mom, dad, how you doing? Not coming in the kitchen, throwing the keys to the side. Mom, you alright? Everything okay? Good. Alright, and do what? How many of you know what's going on with your mom's job? How many of you know where your mom works? How many of you know where your mom works? I see the numbers are increasing. Do you take the time to actually sit down with we as parents are always told to take time with your kids. Let me flip the point you're presenting. How many of you take time to go spend time with your parents? Dad, how's work? How's your health? How's your diabetes and your heartbeat and cholesterol and all that kind of cool stuff?
Dad, I love you.
Huh?
Dad, I love you.
Or are you going to find out he has a bad heart when he croaks and falls over? I'm asking you a serious question. How many of you do that? The best part of my day is when I come home. Is when I open the door and I have two children running to me with my name screaming all throughout the house because they hear the garage. That's the best part of my day. Now, I'm not expecting them to do that when they're 10. But this is, I'm going to enjoy it while I got it. But my question to you is there a sense of celebration of family with your time? I'm putting all the scriptural stuff and all the Bible learning and all that stuff to the side. Yay? Nay? Nobody? Starting tomorrow, you might want to do that. Prioritize time with your parents. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 10, it might be, based on your time, 20, 30, whatever it is. But just take some time. Mom, sit down for a second. Let me talk. How are you? Is that all right? Just to find out how family's doing. Nothing special, nothing great. But these, when you're coming in, it's like, let's just say that you move from your apartment or your dorm and you're moving back home. You bring all these boxes back to your house. When you bring it back to your house, do you just live outside of that box, live off of that box? Don't you take your stuff outside? And when you take your stuff outside, and you kind of like, okay, I need all these are toiletries, I need my toothbrush, so I'm going to put it right here where it's accessible. Does that make sense? I'm not going to put it in the back of my closet because, you know what, I'm going to use this on a daily basis. So it has a special spot right where it is. Am I making sense to you? It might seem simple that toothbrush is something that you take for granted, but it does have a specific and a special spot when you move back into your house. Why? Try walking around without brushing your teeth in a day and you'll find out exactly what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Stuff that you take for granted in your life. For example, your parents. Stuff that you take for granted in your life. At that time, you will find out exactly how important it is. I'll tell you a classic example. I had my dad for 32 years of my life. After he died, I regretted so many things that I wish I did with him. So many things that I wish that I regretted that I did with him. The first car I bought I always had hand-me-downs. First car that I bought, I wanted to go talk to him, but he was gone. Too late. You understand the concept of what's going on? I'll give you another classic example. What happened? By the time I got married, my brother had 2 children. I didn't want to get married. I wanted to push that thing off. As far as I was not like Leslie with the 5-minute thing. I was pushing it off as far as I can. 28, 29. That's what I wanted to do. That was where I wanted to get married. But in the back of my mind, when my dad was playing with his grandchildren, with my brother's kids, in the back of my heart, I was like, no, I would love for to see my dad work playing with my kids. But it was too late. I have a son that I've never seen my dad. It was too late because I'm trying to squeeze all these things together and trying to plan all these things out. And at the same time, you know what? The small things that you take for granted now is so precious afterwards when you lose it. Manage your time. That is not just in the hourly or the secondly or the daily, but also your life. Figure it out. Have a clue what you're going to do with your life. Don't try to figure this all out after you get married. It might be a little too late. That was not my plan. I mean, off the long session. That was prophetic word. I'll give you. All right? So we got to order our lives accordingly, order our time accordingly, and then we need to come to the place of priorities. And I already touched that issue already. What are your priorities? Write them down, list them down, and be honest with yourself. If Bible reading is not a priority for you, don't write it down. But maybe it should become a priority. Make a list and say, you know what, these are the things that are in my life that I do right now that are priorities. These are the things that I want to handle and that should be a priority. Mingle them in. And these are the small little things. You know what, I do these things on the side of my day, like play video games and stuff like that. Look at the Knicks, Madden 2K13 and all that junk. That all needs to go by the wayside. Okay? And prioritize what's important for you. If you have a health issue, join a gym. Don't wait till you're 27 or 28 or married or 37 to go join a gym. That'd be a little too late. Does that make sense? God is expecting us to be accountable with the things that God has given you, plus the time that He has given you. What have you done with the things that I've given you in the time that I've given you? Prioritize the things of your life. I got like 10 minutes to go. All right? So we need some things that need to be cropped out, things that need to be put into play, need to be put into play. But when you do that from a biblical perspective. God, what are your expectations of me? That should be your top priority. Okay? Your relationship with your God, relationship with fellow man should come second. Okay? How much time do you guys spend time in praying and reading the Word and understanding the Word and getting the concept of what the Word is trying to say to you? Or just to sit there and just to listen to what God is trying to say to you? It's a question, it's not a... Some of you guys can answer it. How much time do you guys spend on it? Nothing? Nobody?
Varies.
Huh?
It varies.
Okay.
There's also business.
Okay, but average. Average. Ballpark. 20 minutes? Half an hour?
15 to 20 minutes.
20 minutes every day. Do you do that in the morning or do you do that at night?
I do it in the car.
I hope you're not closing your eyes and driving.
Oh no, when I park. When I get there. Depending on the traffic. Depending on the traffic.
All right? Now, that is the things that come in your life. What about the people that come in your life? Let's just say that you're at work. And you're working on something, and your boss comes and says, you know what, I want to get this done. Who's a priority? What is a priority? I have a boss that doesn't ever recognize that I have a job. He doesn't ever recognize that I have other things to do outside of what he's got promised to do this. I'm being honest with you. He doesn't realize it. I've told that in many, many minutes. He goes, yeah, I know you're doing an amazing, awesome job. Okay. So that's why I'm giving this to you. But the fact of the matter is, when I realized, like Pastor Felix was talking about yesterday, in the place that God has placed you, and the things that you're supposed to do, and when you're praying to God, and you're expecting all these things to happen from a business perspective, all these things to happen, and you're like wondering, like, why God these things are not happening? All of a sudden you come to a place to realize one thing: maybe something's wrong with you. Maybe you're not being faithful with the things that God has given you. Maybe you have not broadened your expectations. Maybe you have not asked God to come into your situation. That's what happened to me. I'm saying this from experience. Because our company, we came to a place where we were going to be all on the brink of bankruptcy. On the brink of bankruptcy. And I did one thing. Every morning when I come, I'm going to sit down and pray. I don't care if the boss is on fire, and the boss clearly knows that that's what Sibi's doing. He knows that clearly. That's what Sibi's doing. And I'm not there to pray for my pastor, my church, my family, my kids. One thing, my job. And then when I tell him all these little things about what's going on, how to manage my time, sir, I'm going to bring your stuff, bring it on. I made a priority code. Is it red, yellow, or green? Bring it to me. If you don't need it right away, you're not going to get it right away. But at the end of the time, all the things that I'm supposed to do, I made that more efficient. Efficiency is a key factor. Efficient. You'll be surprised what kind of different things are happening in our company now. People factor is an issue. Keeping going, I'm rushing. Alright? What is interruption? What is interruption? Define interruption. Okay? How many of you have interruptions on your daily life? Daily life. These interruptions in our daily life. He does. Is traffic an interruption?
Yes.
You're facing traffic every single day. Is traffic an interruption?
No.
That's become part of your life. Alright? Interruptions means something is going steady and this happens. Interruptions. Moving forward, real quick here, I got like 5 minutes here. Procrastination, is that an interruption?
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Huh?
I'll let you know tomorrow.
I'll tell you, I'll tell you. When I'm doing my homework and stuff like that, I'm hitting CNN and Fox News all the time just to see what's going on. Has anything changed? ESPN, too. And some of you, Facebook. When you're doing your homework, when you're praying, or when you're doing something on your computer, you're working, whatever it is, how many times do you go to a website that you're not supposed to be when you're working? Or when you're doing homework? Only one person. Everybody else doesn't procrastinate. Everybody else doesn't put stuff to the side. Procrastination is an interruption, where we are actually thinking that we can do this tomorrow. You know why? You're doing that because you want to just have some time to yourself today. But understand one thing. Tomorrow, you might have something that came out of left field, and how you're going to handle that, and the stuff that you put aside. Okay? That's one thing. The second thing of this, scraps of time. How many of you sit in traffic on a consistent basis? He does. Benoit does. 2 people, 3 people sits in traffic. Question for you: what do you do in traffic? I'm talking about expected traffic. I'm not talking about unexpected traffic. You know this is going to be an hour commute because of traffic. What do you guys do with traffic?
Drink my chocolate.
Drinks hot chocolate. The radio.
Put my seat all the way back.
With your eyes closed again.
With my eyes closed. With my heart.
Do you realize that 30 or 40 or 20 or whatever minutes of traffic time that you have?
Sorry.
No. Close your eyes. That is what they call a scrap of time that God has given you, and you can do something else with it. And I'm not telling you that you're sitting there scripture reading or closing your eyes and praying or anything else. I'm not saying anything else. But that is a scrap of time for you to do something. It might be a time for most of you to just pick up the phone and call your dad. Dad! How you doing? Or your mom, or whoever else. No girlfriend, please. Or mission dating, something like that. See, you understand the value of that time that we actually get to ourselves and we waste, quote unquote, wasting our life in traffic and we're just sitting there and just hanging out. That scrap of time, what are you going to do with it? Are you just going to stand in front of, if you're baking, you stand in front of the cooking oven and just waiting like, oh, that thing's going to bling anytime now. Wasted time. Control your time. Be good, efficient managers of your time. How do you think that Christ handled interruptions? And I'll end with that. He didn't have interruptions? Huh?
He only had
interruptions. Did Christ handle any interruptions?
always.
How did Christ handle interruptions? Christ-like man. Mark chapter 5. Verse 21 on down. Mark chapter 5, verse 21 on down, we hear the story about Jairus' daughter. What is Jairus coming in telling Jesus Christ? Okay. His daughter died or
The point of that.
killed? Okay. So what happens? What happens?
The woman with the bleeding is just came in.
Okay. And what happens? Dig a little deeper now. What else happens?
Jesus stopped and acknowledged who it was. And then somebody else came and said, his daughter died. And Jesus said, he's healed.
You saw how Christ handled an interruption, right? Christ's plan was what? To go where? Jairus' daughter. What happens along the way? He gets what? Touched. And all of a sudden, question for you. You're on your way to your job, and you see somebody on the side, a damsel in distress. Well, don't stop the damsel in distress. If a man on the side of the road that needs help with something, would you stop? Flat time. Huh? Say that again? It's 35. I 35.
No.
Let's just, let's be hypothetically here, guys. Let's go to the traffic law.
No.
Why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Huh?
You can't worry about your safety.
Okay.
Wait, what's the weather like?
Right, sunny day. How do you do that? Huh? How many opportunities that you get to bless somebody else with your time, and you guys don't do that, or I won't do that? Simple question. How many times in any given day God has given you opportunities to bless somebody else with something that belongs to you, your resource, and we pass them by? If you're pulling over to the side and just pulling over something and helping somebody out, does that cost you outside of your time?
It depends on what you're going for.
Yeah, 5 times.
No. this is what your ideal mission is. Like if you're trying to catch a plane, it's about 20 minutes.
This morning, how many of you believe that we should get to church on time? Sunday morning, get to church on time. Everybody believes all right. We should all get to church on Sunday morning. This morning, Shadi, we had a flat tire. No, he started
Who was that? Who said that? It was Ramon? No,
last night, but this morning he needed help. How many of you were actually able to put up on it?
I saw it, I just didn't know.
You saw it. Make church, they gotta go.
Yeah.
I saw it too. I had to preach it, and I'm like, I gotta go. I did the same thing. It's funny, Felix. But one of our guest speakers saw somebody needed help. Somebody that he cared about needed help. And he flexed his muscles. Literally flexed his muscles.
He did?
Literally flexed it because there were about 6
I don't
of
have
us
muscles,
yesterday.
so it is Felix.
We stepped out into the Jack and the whole night. There was a thing that was kind of messed up on the wall. But he's like, let me handle it. Tenderly, been there, flexed his muscles. The resource that he has, that is not turn it around.
No.
He did?
He did.
He did.
He did.
You see what I'm saying? The time that God has given you, the resource that God has given you, it doesn't cost you anything, but you're willing to invest it for the kingdom of God. And no, Shajak is not his right back. I hope not. That's all right. Am I making sense to you? Time is very important. Time is very precious. What you do with your time is going to affect the kingdom of God. It's going to affect the kingdom of God. So don't be in a place where you're a time manager, but be a time controller. Okay? Everybody does not need your help. Say no. Outside your parents. And your family, your kids and all that. Say no. I can't. If you cannot do it, don't do it. Stay away. Your time is precious. It's important. And time that is on a daily basis, time from a life perspective, look at the whole scope of the things that you want to do with your life. Don't wait till you're 28 and 29 to go get married, unless that is a divine thing of God. Fine. Us guys, we always push marriage off to be the last thing, except for Les James. Well, he was one to push it off too, but he was trapped like his family. All right? You get what I'm saying? Don't push it off because you do not know what tomorrow holds for you. You do not know what tomorrow holds for you. All right? Does that make sense? Time is something that is very important. Always expect interruptions, but not expect procrastination. Expect interruptions. Don't expect procrastination. Expect for you to say, you know what, I have this much time between this and that I'm just going to sit there and not do anything. I cannot do anything because of quote unquote sitting in traffic. What are you going to do with that time? Ooh, check her out. What are you going to do with it? Bless somebody else with the resource that God has given you. Be faithful in the little things that God will do. Over greater things. There's a lot more things that I want to talk about, but we all need to catch a flight. I just want to say one thing. Thank you, everybody, for hosting us this past weekend, especially Pastor Felix, Pastor Leslie, Pastor Baiju, and all the ICF seniors. You guys were amazing. You guys did a very good job, especially Johnson, who's not here. Out there. Just want to say thank you for all the blessings and the opportunities that you've given us, especially to these three men that actually brought forth the Word of God. They were seminars, they were topics like that. At the same time, God was dealing with us. Okay? Because we gave freedom to the Word of God, freedom to the Spirit of God, and they were dealing with us. So now, just don't take it one year and out the other and leave it in Rasahachi. Take it with you. Apply that to your daily life. Apply that to your daily living. That's how part of leadership is. All right? introduction. Thank you all of ICPF. Thank you very much.
By the way, he thinks all of ICPF, he's a staff with ICPF, so don't even try that.
That's what they say.
Yeah, okay. He's a staff with the Northeast, so
All right.
keep in touch with him.
Northeast is coming up. Yeah, enjoy. Have a good time. Have a solid good time. Northeast is
I'm standing here for a few words, word of thanks. First of all, I'm so thankful to all the speakers who came. We were just listening about them. He, as I introduced him yesterday, he's the vice president of the company. So, no simple ordinary position he holds. And he made it a point to come on time on Friday, in fact ahead of time on Friday, and he was with us all throughout the 2 days that we had here. Special thanks to Pastor Leslie for his commitment. He took the pain to prepare all the notes. If you look at the binder, you can see all the bullet points, all the notes that he has given us. It's quality material. I'm not belittling the others who contributed now, but then he put in a lot of his time and effort into it. So a very special thanks to Pastor Leslie. Pastor Felix, even though he's not here, he's a familiar face, but nevertheless, this leadership camp was something new, and seeing him speak for the last 2 days, you can understand that the wealth of information and knowledge and revelation that he has concerning leadership. So, thanks to him, we will do it personally. And Pastor Evangelist Cindy Thomas, along with his busy schedule, his family and 2 kids, he came, ahead of time on Friday, even before most of you guys reached here. He was here, spent the last 2 days with us, and getting back to Atlanta this evening. So special thanks to Cindy Thomas. I guess this would be the very first leadership camp for him to speak, but then we were really blessed by what we are looking for. So thank you. Pastor Baiju, I know there is no mention needed. He is an integral part of ICPF. He is one of the, part of the executive leadership. He is the national committee member of ICPF, so, and also the very first staff worker for ICPF in the US. So we don't need to specially thank him, but nevertheless, all the things that he does and continue to do, a special thanks to him. In fact, let me stop there and say one particular thing. Some people would be given a gift to, some people have a charismatic personality. Like they can connect with people just like that. Okay? Some others are having a Pacific personality, which is study personalities. Pacific means calm. Okay? That's why there's the Pacific Ocean. Just calm. You have a pacifier to pacify the other side. It makes him calm. So I would categorize Pastor Baiju in the charismatic personality. There are others who have a pacific nature, but he is one person that we can immediately connect to, and he connects definitely with everybody, each and every young person that he comes across. So special thanks to him for all the things that he continues to do for us. And if I don't mention this, I wouldn't be doing justice. I'm just a face for the hands and feet of so many others, a mouthpiece for so many people who worked tirelessly, who worked behind the scenes. You know that $75 per person as registration is not going to meet the expenses. But then there are so many uncles out here who sacrificially gave for this camp. Okay? Who gave more than they should. And I don't want to call out any names, but then each and every person of the national committee, since you are part of the leadership camp, tell those names real quick. Pastor Jacob Matthew, whom you would all very well know, he is the national president of ICPF in the USA. The vice president is Thomas Verghese from Dallas. Some of you be knowing him, the guy with the beard and glasses, Babu Uncle, okay? And National Secretary is Reggie Phillip. He is in Philadelphia. Most of you wouldn't have seen him, but then he occasionally comes to the camps. The Joint Secretary is Pastor Tinku Thompson. He is in Minnesota, and some of you would have seen him. National Treasurer is Panishan Uncle, who is sitting right at the back. He takes care of all the finances. He deals with all the financial matters concerning ICPF, and he has been a source of tremendous inspiration and encouragement for me. He personally called me, encouraged me, checked how things are going with the organizing. So a special thanks to Panishan Uncle for what he has done and continue to do. And there is the National Joint Treasurer, Shaji Andrews Uncle. You would have seen him many times out here. He's the one who has a flat tire, okay, to make things easy. And he has been helping us out. He went and picked up so many of you guys, right, and brought them here. You wouldn't have seen him doing certain things right on the stage, but then these are the people who worked behind the scenes tirelessly to make this camp a success. National committee members, one of them is Pastor P.C. Jacob. P.C. Jacobs gave me Danny as the point of contact from Oklahoma. The first time that I talked to him, he said, work with Danny. Danny's the best guy to work with to get the guys from Oklahoma. And he worked in bringing, all the kids to the camp, and he even supported us in many different ways. Pastor P.C. Jacobs, we are so thankful to you for what you have done. And the other national committee member is Pastor Bayu. We have already went over him. So now I want to especially thank Brother Pinoy Johnson. Okay? And we shared with him about the leadership camp, and he was more than willing to come, be a part of it. He led the meeting yesterday excellently. So special thanks to Brother Pinoy Johnson. And let me also call out the leaders who came from the different cities. Sam Rajan, he was instrumental in organizing the students from Dallas. Danny Joseph from Oklahoma. Robin John and Joel Peter John, both of them from Houston. They have been of tremendous help, and they worked behind the scenes. They pulled all the guys from Houston and Oklahoma and brought them out here, so special thanks to you. One person that I missed is Abraham Marie Sandil Sanyangal. He's the leader of ICPF in Dallas. This wouldn't be an understatement, but he, right from the get-go of this camp, he has been there giving me encouragement, advice, and he was there for each and every step of the way. So a special thanks to Sunny Eagle for what he has done. And Felix, we were waiting for you to come.
You're missing one seat.
Oh yeah, one thing, yeah. Pastor Felix, for what he has done for us, what he has imparted to us through the Holy Spirit and through the Word. We are so grateful to God for you, and your presence has made a big difference in our life and also in this camp. So special thanks to you. Lastly but not the least, there is an Uncle Johnson George Monsian. He is also part of the national executive. This has been his dream. Okay? What we are seeing right now, this leadership camp has been his dream for, that's his dream was conceived, and he brought forth this entire idea of pulling together guys from different cities to have a leadership camp. And this is the first step that we made towards that. Even though you wouldn't see him on stage, he has been there working behind the scenes, tirelessly contacting people, and we are so thankful to Monsian for what he has done. Thank you so much. He is actually back outside. He doesn't come into the stage or front of him. He doesn't like his name easily mentioned, so I will just leave it at that. Now let me hand it over real quick to Pastor Felix. He will be taking over the remainder of this last session that we have. Stay awake. This is the last session, and after that, Pastor Baiju will be concluding this. Thank you.
How you guys doing?
Stand up or stand?